Welcome to the Lambton College International Graduate Services and Support Center, your dedicated resource for navigating life after graduation. We know the journey can be complex, from understanding immigration processes to making career decisions and expanding your professional network. That's why we're here, to simplify these challenges and support your transition into Canadian life. At the International Graduate Services and Support Center, our mission extends beyond your academic achievements. We are here to facilitate your successful integration into the Canadian workforce and society. From career counseling to workshops on Canadian workplace culture and immigration support, our services are tailored to meet the unique needs of international graduates. We're committed to empowering you with the tools and knowledge necessary for success. Embrace the opportunity to connect with fellow graduates and professionals through our networking events and stay informed with our comprehensive webinars covering a range of topics crucial for your postgraduate success. Remember, the path to achieving your aspirations is a journey we undertake together. Ready to take the next step? Visit our website and join our supportive community. Remember to follow us on Instagram and on LinkedIn for upcoming immigration webinars, networking events, and much more. Together, let's make your postgraduate journey a success.
Bonjour, diplômé, ça va? I really hope we can host this event in French in the future. Today is going to be in English. Welcome everybody to today's webinar. My name is Cristina Yiguren, and I'm the coordinator of International Graduate Services and Support Center. I want to remind you that we are recording this session so that you can watch it later on our YouTube channel, and also you will get a recording in the upcoming days. Also, I want to invite you to follow us on our social media. That's where you can find about our upcoming events. And especially if you're from the finance and business programs from Lambton College, stay tuned because we're preparing an exciting surprise for you. So also check your email. Don't forget about that as well. This center is dedicated to assisting you, our international graduates, as you seek employment and settle into Canadian life following graduation. International graduates from Mississauga, Toronto, Sarnia, and Ottawa have access to immigration, career advice, and networking events. There are countless reasons why you can take pride in being a Lambton graduate, as I'm also proud of working here. We've been ranked as one of Canada's top research colleges, and also we're here to support you all the way, even after graduation. We're committed to help you with your post-graduation journey. And actually, part of this commitment is that we're hosting this webinar today in collaboration with Rosetta Stone and Long Mongoldie LLP firm. After both interventions, we will have the Q&A, and also we will have a survey that I really encourage you to reply so that we can keep improving our events for you. This webinar is particularly important at the moment as it provides valuable insights into a promising pathway for obtaining permanent residence, especially in light of changing immigration laws and rising score requirements. We will be focused on Francophone mobility today with Elizabeth Long, a leading immigration lawyer in Canada. Elizabeth holds a Juris Doctor degree from the University of Toronto, and she also holds a Master of Law degree from York University. Elizabeth has been certified by the Law Society of Ontario as a specialist in citizenship and immigration law, a prestigious list in which only approximately 65 lawyers in Canada belong, which is pretty impressive. Elizabeth, once again, thank you so much for accepting our invitation. I see Chris clapping. It is amazing, isn't it? So thank you, Elizabeth, once again. Thank you, Chris, as well. I will get back to you in a moment. Elizabeth, now the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. It's always a pleasure to be here with you guys today. And, today we're going to talk about the French advantage. And let me just make sure I'm sharing the right slide here. Um, Canada right now there are so many advantages in if you speak French. And people often ask me, why is it that why is the government so interested in French speakers? The reason, in short, is it's political. Canada has had this history with Quebec, where Quebec keeps saying that they want to separate because they're unique, they speak French, and the rest of Canada speaks English. Whereas the federal government has said, no, wait a minute, we also have a lot of French speakers throughout the country. So don't separate, you're not that unique. We can also accommodate you as well in the rest of Canada. So because of those political reasons in the background, we have many, many programs that are dedicated to the French advantage. And I am going to go through these programs here. But as you can see, it's not just one or two programs. There are many, many advantages if you are able to reach a certain level in your French language abilities. The first one I want to talk about is the Francophone Mobility Work Permit. So many of you may already have a postgrad work permit, but that postgrad work permit will have an expiry date. And one of the best ways to apply for another work permit is through this program. What does this program require? Well, first of all, it has, sorry, why isn't this? Okay, so first of all, you have to only have what's called a CLB 5 for just speaking and listening. You don't have to worry about reading and writing. Just speaking and listening, you have a CLB of 5. You guys are probably used to the IELTS, for example. IELTS CLB 5 would be a 5 level, okay? Just speaking and listening. Now, if you have that, then, sorry guys, for any job offer outside of Quebec, not anything inside Quebec, any job offer outside of Quebec, other than, agriculture, primary occupations, any other job offer, you can actually just apply for the work permit. And it's not an LMIA, okay? It's an LMIA exempt work permit. The employer does not have to go and advertise and show they can't find a Canadian to do the job. What the employer would have to do is they would register what's called an offer of employment on the employer portal. So what they do is they go in and they would say, okay, well, I'm offering this person a position in this area, and it's, this is what I'm paying him, and this is where he's going to be working, etc. Okay. And once that's registered, it's submitted within a few minutes. The system will automatically then have it submitted. That's what this work permit requires. It, normally, for example, when we work with an employer, it might take them maybe half an hour or so to review the documents, and we put it up on the portal. They review it, it's okay, and it's done. That's it. Very, very simple, not a LMIA at all. And then finally, because it is an employer-specific work permit. And this is one of the reasons we often help our clients apply for this work permit, even if your post-grad work permit is, not expiring for a long time, because it's an employer-specific work permit. If we have this work permit and you've worked in this position for at least a year, and it's a position where it's a permanent position, or at least if you have 2 more years left on your contract, then you get 50 points for arranged employment for express entry. Okay, so this is a very, very nice work permit, and the level for French is quite low, just the CLB 5. Let's talk a little bit about express entry. What is express entry? Most of you will know, but let me just give you a overview of how it works, okay? So first, to qualify for express entry, which is the main permanent residence category, you have to qualify under 3 different streams. One of the 3, Federal Skilled Worker class, Canadian Experience class, or Federal Skilled Trades class. Now, once you qualify, you're entered into the express entry pool. Just because you are entered into the express entry pool does not mean that you have applied for permanent residence. Okay, you have not applied for anything just because you're in the pool. When you're in the pool, you get a series of points based on your background. If you have provincial nominee program, and every 1 or 2 weeks, the government will have a draw where they invite people based on their score, based on how they entered the pool, and also oftentimes based on these category-based draws, okay? Or if they have provincial nomination. It's only after you get that invitation to apply that you can actually submit your application. So, how does French help express entry? It helps in all sorts of ways. But the first thing that you have to understand is, for the most part, you have to have a CLB level of at least 7 for each of the skill levels: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So CLB 7 is for IELTS, like the IELTS level. You have to do the French level, but for the IELTS level, it would be a 6 for the IELTS, okay? So how does that help? So first of all, if you can achieve that level, you can get around 62 to 74 extra CRS points. And there are also category-based draws. If your CRS points, even with those levels for French, are not enough, guess what? You have special draws every few months. And the last draw was only 446 on September 13th. Then on top of that, if you're in Ontario, the Ontario government, or you indicate you want to live in Ontario, the Ontario government will also comb through who is in the pool in express entry, and they will invite French speakers as well. So in order to qualify for this, you have to have at least a bachelor's. It could be a bachelor's from any country, anywhere, except nurses. Nurses, you don't necessarily have to have a bachelor's. You could get away with a college program. And your English level is at least CLB 6. So if your French level is CLB 7, English level is CLB 6, you have a bachelor's degree, the lowest draw, in the last draw, they invited someone who had a score of 290 points only. And finally, like I said in the first slide, if you can get the Francophone work permit. Again, how do you get the Francophone work permit? Just a CLB level of 5 for for speaking and listening, okay? Not reading or writing, just speaking and listening. If you have that work permit alone, then that work permit would qualify you for the arranged employment points of 50 points, even which is there. If you had a postgrad work permit, you don't get the arranged employment points because it's an open work permit. This Francophone work permit would get you those additional 50 points for express entry. Okay. And then we can also see that you do have a little bit of advantage for the OIMP non-express entry streams. So these are programs that are not related to express entry, okay? And how does this work? This is the Ontario Provincial Nominee Program. Well, you would have to first enter yourself into the pool. For OIMP, it's a very different pool from express entry. This is with the province. And when you enter yourself into the pool, if you have a CLB 6 in the second language, and your English, you get, CLB 7, but say you have a CLB 6 in the second language, you do have another 5 points, which could mean a difference between you getting invited to apply or not for all of these different streams. So other than in-demand stream, all of the other streams, you do get that additional points. Now, there are a host of other programs. I'm not going to go too much into them because some of them are in, some of them probably don't apply. The first one is the government has said that students who can speak who can pass the French exams can get the study permits much more easily, and they will have a direct pathway to permanent residence as well. There's a cap of 2,300 cap for the first year, and these are for students who are accepted into that particular program. There's a Francophone community immigration pilot program that is not out yet, probably will be announced in the next few weeks or so, where if you have a job offer at a certain community and you can speak French, you may be able to apply for permanent residence as well. I don't know what the specifics of this program are going to be. If you have registered for this program, what we're going to do is we're going to have you put on our news list, because what I tell you today is true today, but you know, in a few moments time, the government is going to make an announcement on LMIAs. Next week, there's going to be another announcement, probably on, other programs. So the only way that we're able to let you know on changes to the law like this pilot would be to send you an email about that. Okay, so if you don't want to be on it, just unsubscribe, but hopefully this will be helpful to you. And then there's Quebec immigration. Quebec, I don't do Quebec immigration, but as far as I have heard, in Quebec, if you don't speak French right now, it's nearly impossible to apply for permanent residence, especially under the economic streams. In my opinion, the Quebec programs are so stringent and slow that it probably would be better if even if you spoke French, to be in outside of Quebec, because of the other programs that the federal government has for people not in Quebec are much, much easier. All right, so I just have a couple of tips for you guys on using French, okay? First of all, I want you to plan your immigration pathway. Before you go and just take French exams or do this and that, we can talk about it. Maybe you might have a good chance to immigrate another way. Or if you do want to do it, you want to know, okay, what levels do I need? How much should I concentrate on, for example, speaking and listening and reading and writing, etc. Okay? And then you really have to understand how these tests work. So the tests that you guys have to do for immigration are the TEF and the TCF. And they really do test your ability to do these exams in all of the 4 skills: the reading, the writing, listening, and speaking. And I was just speaking with the speaker from Rosetta Stone today that you're going to be listening to, Chris, who was saying that they do actually train on each of these specific skills, which is great. Okay, so make sure that you understand what the tests are testing for, and that you are prepared to do these tests. And even if you're generally, you can go out in the store, you can generally, converse with them, make sure that you practice these tests as well beforehand. And finally, don't wait to start learning. It takes people a while to, be able to master a language. And even if your postgrad work permit expires in 3 years, the government's policies are getting tougher and tougher every day. And when the conservatives come in, they're likely going to be even tougher. So don't wait to start learning and start planning as well. Okay. All right, that's it for me. Now, we do offer you guys a discounted rate for consultations if you are coming from Lambton College. So do tell me that you've come to this webinar and you've been referred by Lambton. The consultation fee is $100, and we can do it online as well with you, and we'll go over a plan for you. Okay.
Great, Elizabeth. Thank you so much for a detailed explanation. Actually, I will need to review myself as well later on. So again, thank you very much, Elizabeth. And now we will just move with our agenda. The center wanted to offer you some study options. And we have reviewed over 7 applications, and we found that Rosetta Stone applications cover very well all 4 language skills. So we've done our homework, and this is why we have invited Chris today with us. He's from IXL Rosetta Stone. He's the manager for Canada. Chris had many different roles at Rosetta Stone Education, included Senior Director of Education Sales, Senior Director of Enterprise, and Senior Director of Learning and Development. Chris loves heavy metal music, hiking, and learning. You can say Chris is really enthusiastic. You will love his presentation. And Chris is passionate about the learning journey of the students in Canada. So again, Chris, thank you very much for joining us today. And now the floor is all yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina and Elizabeth. Thank you for that wonderful information and letting me follow you. I think what we're talking about today really mixes well together because Elizabeth talked about the path, right? What it takes on your journey. We're going to talk a little bit about how we can help you with Rosetta Stone, potentially accelerate that French language acquisition, okay? Now, my name is Chris Brotherson, but all my friends call me Bro because my last name is Bro. In the early 70s, before everybody was calling each other Bro. So now that we're friends, feel free. Also know if you have any questions, I am available after this. I'll give you guys my email address and you can ask me any questions. So with that, let's get started. Now, one thing really quick, Rosetta Stone is a part of the IXL family. IXL is an educational technology company that does supplemental education for math, English, science and social studies, but also Rosetta Stone. So IXL bought Rosetta Stone a few years ago. I've been with Rosetta Stone since 2010, so you're stuck with me. But also know we have some other great tools that can benefit your learning through your Francophone process, whether it be Wisant, which is a tutoring option that we can have, right? Or English.com, French.com, ways that you can utilize some dictionaries through us. Now, just know that Rosetta Stone is utilized across the globe and a ton of places within Canada. A few of the examples are there below. I won't spend a ton of time going into that, but just know that for English language learning, French language learning, our immersive environment is utilized across schools and universities across the globe. And we've won a bunch of awards. I'm not here to brag, okay? But I do want you to know that we did win a Cody Award in 2003 for Best Ed Tech Language Learning Application. So remember, all the stuff that we talk about today is available to do on your computer, but you can do it on any device, including your watch. So just know that what we talk about, you can learn and utilize on the go. Now, if you remember one thing today, I want you to remember this. Rosetta Stone teaches language the same way we learned our native language, through immersion. We want you to start thinking in your target language, in this case, French. We don't want you to have to translate that back to your native language in your brain. Okay, we want you to think in your target language. And I'll tell you an interesting story about how we teach. There's no translation. We just immerse you in the French language. Now, I took French back in high school a long time ago. I have a lot of gray hair, right? And they taught me French through translation. Do you know how much I remember today? Very little, right? Because I memorized it. Instead of understanding when I see this picture that is ship, I would think to myself, what does cat equal in French? Now, remember, I went to school in the 70s and 80s, okay? I also learned my math through memorization. I learned multiplication tables, right? And to this day, if you ask me any combination up through 12 times 12, I am nails, I will get it right. But if you ask me 14 times 17, I have to get out pen and paper or a calculator. It's because I learned math through translation. We teach math differently now, don't we? We teach students how to think in the language of math. We need to do the same with language, okay? So if you remember that, Rosetta Stone's teaching is through immersion, no translation. It's also how we learned our first language, if you think about it. So I have a 14-year-old who's been on Rosetta Stone since he was 5 learning Spanish. When he was a little guy, I didn't sit here all day and go, phone, phone, see the phone, check out the phone. Hey, dude, do you like the phone? No. He learned that this was a phone by hearing me, his mom, his grandmother, his cousins talk about this object. And then he, through immersion, learned that this was a phone. We want to do the same thing for you when you're learning, okay? So the only difference is we structure the immersion, right? We want you in Rosetta Stone in 30-minute chunks. We find that if you go much more than 30 to 60 minutes in a chunk, it gets tough to keep your attention span, okay? So 30 to 60-minute chunks in this immersive environment. Now, what I love about Rosetta Stone is we're going to throw a bunch of different activities at you in different forms. Okay, we're not just going to work on sight words. We're not just going to learn shet and then forget about it. We're going to learn and talk about shet all through all 20 units of Rosetta Stone. And here is something key that goes with what my new friend Elizabeth was talking about. Rosetta Stone covers all 4 language domains, okay? All 4, reading, writing, speaking, and listening. This for our TCF Canada, right? For our CLB, know that we check all of those boxes, and we have multiple curriculum options. So our standard curriculum is 25% of each of these. But let's say you're getting ready to take the TCF or making sure that you're ready for the CLB. We have other curriculum options where we can focus on speaking and listening more, reading and writing more. So as we're preparing for those exams, those certifications, we can change curriculum to meet your need as we prepare for that. One of the things I love about Rosetta are those curriculum options that meet each learner's need and goal. And in this case, for many of you, it's that Francophone experience, right? So I get excited about language. All right, really quick, I'm just going to show you all some screenshots, but also know that if you need anything more, let Jesus, Christina know. I am always here to be able to take you on a little bit deeper dive. But for today, I just want to show you a couple of screenshots to give you an overview. What drives Rosetta Stone forward is one of 3 things. The first 2, you do the most. You use your voice or you click and make a choice. Remember, I have a 14-year-old. What he's told me he likes about Rosetta Stone is it's easy to move forward. Spoken like a true student, right? He feels like he's constantly making progress because he's using his voice or clicking and making a choice. So right here, we get prompted, the girl is playing. We would find the appropriate one, click, and we move on. But you're always talking in Rosetta Stone, always speaking. And this would be one of those examples. Well, right here, I would hear school. I would repeat back school, okay? We then, and this is very basic stuff, Unit 3, Lesson 1. We introduce full sentences and can get folks just in our foundational program to a CFR level of a B, a high B. And we also have some advanced content that if you ever want to look at it, you let your new buddy bro know, and I'm happy to share it with you, okay? Now, a couple other things to show you as well. We deliver the content in different ways. We're not going to prompt you right here. We are going to hear and then choose, right? This is a listening skill where we listen to what's said and then make a choice. So I just want to make sure I can show you all how we definitely touch on all of these key domains for your Francophone journey, right? And for these assessments and certifications that you need. And don't worry, we have writing exercises, okay? We have writing exercises to the point where you will be doing full paragraphs. And know this, we offer and do with these writing exercises, stories, folk tales, newspaper articles. We're going to deliver the content to you in different forms and in forms you will actually see it in real life. And just know this, as we do immersion, writing still works. We don't come out and say, hey, here comes a new grammar rule. We just start showing it to you in the program and then eventually hold you accountable for it. Remember, immersion based, and that is key to thinking in your target language of French. Now, as we move forward, I want you all to know in French, we have 20 units that equal 5 levels. Each one of those units is broken down into 4 lessons. All right, I won't get too much into the logistics of it, but just know we start with a core lesson in every lesson that's 30 minutes long. It's where we introduce new concepts. But each one of those is followed by a 5 to 10 minute micro learning lesson where we practice things like reading, writing, pronunciation, vocabulary, grammar. We even have reviews for you to do knowledge checks. And the neat thing about the reviews are they adapt with you. So let's say your new buddy bro takes a review. He doesn't do so well. I'm going to get that review sooner. I'm going to get it again. But let's say Elizabeth takes a review and of course crushes it. Elizabeth might get that knowledge recheck way farther down the line, or the adaptive learning may say, Elizabeth has got this review nailed. She's done. Okay, so the program also adapts with you as the learner. And remember, it works on all devices. And this is key for all of you traveling, learning, living life on the go. And one other thing to note, it works offline. So if you're going to be somewhere where you are not going to have internet access, that's not a problem. You can download the exercises to any of your devices, use it offline, and then when you get internet access, your progress syncs right back up. Okay? So just know you can always use this. Okay, that content offline is available for 30 days. And again, that progress syncs right back up. But there's a couple other things I want to point out. We have some additional parts of the Rosetta Stone program that I think are actually really key for your mission. For these assessments and certifications that you have to take, the TCF, right, the CLB, we have stories. And what I love about these stories as we think about prepping for those things is we're working on 3 parts of language in one place. And Elizabeth, this one makes me think of the CLB specifically where we're working on speaking, listening, and reading. I can read the story aloud. I can listen to it spoken to me by a native speaker, or I can read it, record it, and then get immediate feedback like I get in the core part of the program. This is amazing assessment, test, practice, prep. And they're fun. Remember, folk tales, newspaper articles, right? Right here, we're learning about the boy from Havana. I love these. And one other thing, we have a great alphabet tool in our additional resources for you as well. If you just want to go practice the alphabet, fantastic. We even have a curriculum where you have to go and do the alphabet tool before you start the core part of the program. So whatever your journey may be, we have the tool, the resource, and the curriculum to get you ready for your next journey. So we're not going to leave you hanging, all right? We're going to give you reports. So as a learner, or even as an administrator, we're going to let you know how you do on the activities, potentially how you do as a group, but we're also going to give you score, progress, training use, last training use, current activity, so you can always track your progress. And here's what an individual learner report looks like. Easy to use. You can export these to Excel and CSV, slice and dice them any way you want, okay? The reporting tool's great, but the magic of the program is in learning. So as we bring it home, I won't make you look at a bunch more reports. Just know that we've got data for days, and we can even group you with other learners if you'd like to do some of your learning journey together. So with that, I know I talked a lot. I know I talked fast, and I know I just showed you some screenshots. But as a follow-up, here is my email, and then Lisa Martin, who's based in Ontario, who covers Eastern Canada. If you want to see more, if you have a question, if I can help you in any way, your new buddy Burrow is here. and ready to help support you in your French language journey.
Thank you, Chris, so much for an amazing presentation. As I said before, we've done our homework, and that's why we're working with Rosetta Stone. We reviewed more than 7 applications, and Rosetta Stone covers very well all the skills we need to cover. You've seen already that they have pictures, and if you are a learner like me, I need pictures, and then I understand better how to associate the words. So Rosetta Stone will help you a lot with that. And Chris, I would like to go through something. I believe that if they subscribe to Rosetta Stone, they will be able to go through all languages, right? Because our
Correct.
graduates needs French and also needs to take an English test. So you can practice both French, English, and if you want to practice any other language, you can do that as well. But probably now let's focus on French and English. So we can do that, right?
Yeah, our licenses, Christine, they include all languages,
Perfect.
all levels. So I know we're focusing on French, but regardless of what your language learning journey is, we have 25 languages there for you, and you have access to any of them.
All right, that's amazing. So we really recommend for these reasons Rosetta Stone. And with these presentations, I think we can go through our Q&A. Let's see, what do we have? This one is going to be for Elizabeth. Does it require the work permit for OINP French speaking skills besides the English bachelor? That's the
Does
first
it require
question.
the work experience for OIMB? So with regard to work experience, you have to be in the express entry pool. So all that's required for work experience is that you are in the express entry pool. And then afterwards, you know, you can get selected if you're in there as long as you have your bachelor's degree.
Okay, good. We have another one here for Elizabeth. I have 1 year for tier 3 experience and a bachelor's degree with CLB7 in IELTS. I have CLB5 in speaking and listening in TEF. I have 1.8 years left on my work permit. May I know which pathway is most suitable for me? That's kind of, I don't know
It's
if we can answer
very
it
specific,
now. It
yes.
is.
I would highly recommend that you come to me and we can sketch out a real pathway for you. But I can just tell, you know, if you can get the speaking and listening in 5 for CLB 5, we may go to your employer and see if they'll support you with a Francophone mobility work permit, which may get you enough to extend your work permit, and then we can look at your permanent residence options as well.
Perfect. Another one for Elizabeth. Hi, if we are not on work permit, can we enroll ourselves in this program?
Not sure if
Or I'm not sure for whose
this
question is this.
if they're on a work permit, can they enroll themselves in? I'm not sure which program they're talking about, or if they're on Chris's
Yeah,
program.
probably you need to be more specific with the questions. Also, no, we have any program, but I'm not sure what are you referring. So if you can let us know a little bit more about that. Chris, how about subscribing Rosetta? So let me just say something here. I have in our chat Rosetta Stone link and Elizabeth information as well. So if you go to our chat, you will get all the informations there. And now, Chris, if you want to add something
Christina,
here. Yep.
I'm just thinking, I see that you've posted the on chat. I don't know if the other people can see it because I see that it's on a direct message to me. So
Let
I
me
don't know if you can see.
verify now. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, are we there? Oh, there you are.
Oh,
So
it's all right.
yes, and I'll re-embed the link in the chat again as well, Christina. So we have options for you all specifically. There's a link in there. You can also just easily reach out to Christina, who will connect you with me or Lisa, or feel free to hit me up anytime at Chris, CHRISB at IXL.com. I'm going to throw it in the chat as well with the link is for you guys, okay? But when in doubt, if you've got any questions, hit up your new buddy, bro, and I'm going to put my info in the chat for you all with the link.
All right, good. I'm replying some questions here as well. I will get to the chat. Elizabeth as well is posting information. Let's go with more related questions. Rosetta Stones prepares you for the exam. What is the time length? This one's very good. What is the time length for the prep for the exam? And if we don't pass it, what would be a help? Well, you will need to study a lot.
I think that's a question for Chris, how much time it
It
takes
is.
to go through
Yeah.
Rosetta Stone.
So we have 5 levels of Rosetta Stone French. Okay. And the way that here's the guide, and I even have it, I even wrote it down because I thought I'd get this question. So for the first 3 levels, okay, so for the first 12 units, it takes 120 to 150 hours to complete. Now, the next 8 units takes about another 100 hours, okay, because we're getting into some more advanced concepts. All right, so you could do all 20 units, all 5 levels, 200, 240, 250 hours, okay, just to let you all know. So hopefully that kind of helps. But here's the goal I tell people. If you can do 3, 4, 5 days a week of a minimum of 30 minutes, you can hit some of these goals and you won't burn yourself out. Okay. I did it. When I do it, try to do it each business day for 30 minutes. All right. So that's just kind of my bro tip or pro tip for you. But just know it's about 200 to 250 hours of total content.
Rosetta Stone, do you guys have in-person classes or just online?
So we do have what we call live tutoring as an option. So when you look at the subscriptions, you'll see that as kind of an add-on option. What that means is you will get one-on-one tutoring sessions French language learners with a native speaker. We can do those monthly, we can do those quarterly, and when you set up your subscription, you can decide what those tutoring sessions potentially look like. They're really fun. These tutors are all vetted by Rosetta Stone, background checks, all that great stuff. And it's a great way to practice your French with French speaker in an environment that's not daunting, right? Where you can build a little confidence. So we do offer that. And if you'd like any more information on the tutoring, just let your new buddy bro know, right? And we'll go and I'll get it to you.
Good. I have a question for Elizabeth. What are qualified tier no category will tier 4 consider for PR?
So for most of these programs like Express Entry or OIMP, except for the in-demand stream, you will need that tier, the high skills, so 0, 1, 2, or 3. But with the French community pilot program for permanent residents, they may allow lower tiers as well. Also for the Francophone work permit, if you just want to continue on and at least extend your work permit, it doesn't matter which tier it is.
Good. All right. In Lambton College, we do not offer French lessons, so that's why we're hosting this webinar with Rosetta Stone. You can join. Join Rosetta, and you will get all what you need. We have here for Elizabeth as well. Francophone and French, I guess, bachelor, high school. Is there any specific pathway? And also if it's very difficult to get CLV7, especially for writing in French?
So a couple of things. First of all, go through my presentation. I don't know if you saw everything there. Christina, this is recorded, right? And it'll be sent out to everyone afterwards. Also, I would highly recommend that you book a consultation with me. I'm sure there are things that we can do with you. And if you just need to get that CLV7, and you're at like a 6.5 or a 6 level, that's where Chris and Rosetta Stone can come in and just put in some hours to study that. And that might just get you over the top, and that might be enough. So come and see me first, and then afterwards go and see your buddy bro over there.
That's Elizabeth.
Yeah, we're all a team, so that's where we're working together for you guys. This one's gonna be for Chris. is level 1 a pre-required before I can proceed to level 2, or we can take it simultaneously?
You can move throughout the program, right? So some of you may have a great baseline or some awesome proficiency already in French. Okay, we do have some placement guides to help make sure we start you in the right place. All right, so when you start your Rosetta journey, let me know. If you have some proficiency, you don't need to start at level 1. That's for a blank slate, 0 CPER scale, right, learner. So if you have proficiency, let me know. And Christina, I'll send you some guides for this as well that we can send out to the crew as some follow-up. But absolutely, you can skip around and go to the part of the program that's most appropriate for your proficiency level.
All right, good. We have many questions about Elizabeth fees. So I don't know if Elizabeth, if you would like to get back to those questions and if they can book the consultation with you.
Yes, absolutely. So it's $100 for the consultation, the initial consultation. If you tell us that you're from Lambton College, normally it's $150. So yeah, just let us know and you can email me. I put my email on there. It's inquiries@lmlawgroup.com. It's in the chat. And email us, and we'll certainly set you up with a lawyer who will be able to go through your entire plan, immigration plan, and what you need to do to not only get permanent residence, but also to extend your stay until you can get permanent residence as well.
Good. This one's also for you, Elizabeth. Does IRCC accept expired IELTS, or do we have to do it over every 2 years?
Yes, for most programs, you're going to have to need a non-expired test, English or French test.
Okay, perfect. Francophone mobility program, could you please, okay, that's not gonna happen. Sorry, take us through these again, please. So again,
Rewind.
exactly, you will
Watch.
get you will get the recording,
Yes.
and if you have questions, you can book a consultation with Elizabeth. Unfortunately, we cannot go back, but anyways, you will have the opportunity to watch this webinar again. Let's see, what else do we have here? If I reach B1 level, then is there any path to extend my work permit or PR, or should I must have B2 level for eligible for PR?
So the B1, B2 is not necessarily correlates exactly to the CLB levels. So what I would suggest is I need to see your French tests. And again, if you are currently at the B1 level and you just need to get to the B2 level or, to get up, 1 or 2 CLB, this is where programs like Rosetta Stone are super helpful. Put in some time, but come and see me and we can see, what can be done at this point and see if you just need to get up, one more level, then yeah, you have your tools right there.
Perfect. How we can get additional points from this work permit as employer-specific permit?
So this is with regard to arranged employment. So arranged employment in general with any high-skilled job, if it's an executive management job, you get 200 points for arranged employment. But for most jobs, you'll get a 50 points for arranged employment. Arranged employment means that if you have an LMIA, or if you have an employer-specific work permit. So post-grad work permits will not qualify you for arranged employment points. But employer-specific work permits, like the Francophone mobility work permit, will give you 50 points if you've worked for the employer for at least 1 year, you have this work permit, and you have a job offer that's at least 2 years in length.
All right, good. We have another one for Elizabeth. If it's possible to extend my work permit if I am studying French, I don't know if we went through this one. And do I need a study permit or can I only study with my work permit?
Okay, so guys, with regard to studying, with any sort of online courses, you do not need a study permit. So if you wanted to study Rosetta Stone online, you don't need any kind of study permit to do that, okay? Regular in-class studies, if it is for a program of more than 6 months, you do. Under 6 months, you don't need a study permit to do so.
Perfect. Does self-examination accepted by immigration process, is there any possibilities to that government will implement for immigration process?
Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know if they'll implement that. Yeah.
All right, let's see, what else do we have? I don't know if we can answer this one. Which is the easier to take, TEF or TCF? Just like with English, people mostly go with CELP because it's easier than IELTS.
Well, that one I think it's a very individual choice. The TEF is an older exam, and I think it might be available in more places than the TCF. With English, some people like IELTS because they're actually talking to real people compared to CELPIP. And maybe CELPIP writing might be easier, etc. But a lot of it, for the most part, the levels are pretty similar. And so for me, I think if you can prepare for either one of those exams, and whichever you can do best in. Yeah.
Perfect. Let me share again our information from the center. If you want to, if you would like to join, follow us on our social media. And one more question here. Does arranged employment means closed work permit?
Yes, you need to have a closed employer specific work permit in order to get arranged employment.
Okay, I'm already enrolled in a program at Lambton College and will be applying for a post-graduation work permit after November 1st. Do I have to take the English test? Yes.
Very good question. Usually, no, but the government has come out with some announcements saying sometime in the future, you might have to do the postgrad work, you might have to do a language test for postgrad work permits. We don't know when that is. We're going to put you on our news list. And when these kind of news comes out, we'll let you know. And Christina, I don't know if maybe at that point we might have another webinar for you guys to
Absolutely.
tell this news as well.
We will need. Fortunately, most of our graduates are safe in the sense that they got already the PGWP, but
Yeah.
the ones who just graduated are the ones we will need to take care as well, for sure.
Yes, and also they're going to have news on the spousal work permits as well. So it's not good news. It's never good news these days, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah.
All right, we have one more question here for Elizabeth again, the last one. How would the 1-year work permit with employer works? Is that clear? Say I initially worked with employer under PGWP and completed 1 year already. Then my PGWP is expiring and my employer provides the French work permit. Will my initial 1-year work experience count already?
Yes, if you've already worked with the employer for 1 year, it's the same employer as the one that you got your work permit. Yes, you do get arranged employment at that point.
Perfect. We have thanks so much, International Graduate Services and Support Center. I always love to hear Elizabeth's webinars, and I also love Chris energy. We all love Chris energy.
That's so sweet. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys. I have a couple of questions here that we haven't answered because we will need more information from Anmol. We just have any program, not sure what you mean. And the other one, I don't know if you can understand this better than I can, Elizabeth.
I think we need more information on that. If they're wondering if they're on a work permit, can they enroll themselves in this program? I guess, Chris, they don't have to have a work permit to enroll themselves in
If it's that.
Yeah, if it's that, it is literally go to the link through Lambden because that's where we've got the stuff specifically for Lambden. So if you go through that link, your green light go.
Totally. So I have sent already in our chat. You will get all Rosetta Stone information, the center's information, and Elizabeth's information. And let's go with the last question. regarding the spouse visa, what all changes have come recently?
Haven't come yet. The government
Will
has made
come.
some announcements last week that they are going to put in some spousal work permit changes upcoming. We don't know exact specifics yet, but they're coming with regard to who can qualify for spousal work permits.
Perfect. And one more question for Rosetta Stone. How much is the fee for Rosetta? Well, you have different plans, so you can check them on the link I sent. I personally recommend the lifetime subscription because, yes, right, you will get lifetime subscription pretty much. You don't need to rush yourselves, and you will have the opportunity to learn all languages available for you for $249, if I'm not wrong.
That's right.
So it's a really good option. And okay, this is really gonna be the last question. Rosette, again, we have covered this somehow. How much is the time you suggest to study? 3 months, 12 months? Well, that's difficult to answer. It will depend on your level, study time. Any more
Yep.
insights, Chris?
The magic number is if you can do 3 or more days of 30 minutes a day, you will see proficiency gains. If you do less than that, you'll see some gains, but you'll find yourself having to do a little bit of relearning. Okay, so 3 days or more, 30 minutes a day, you will see substantial proficiency gains.
Okay, perfect. Someone is asking to connect with other students in this webinar. We do not have that option. This person wants to discuss probably scenarios. So if you want to share your information with your follows, you can share your information. There's a question on our survey, the 8 or 9 question is really quick, so no worries. And you can say you want to connect with your fellows, and you can also follow us on social media and you can connect there. So follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, and you will get information there as well. So that will be my recommendation for now. And just on time, perfect. So I really want to thank you, Elizabeth and Chris. If you want to join, we will be hosting this webinar at 5:30 again this afternoon. So you are more than welcome to join us again. Elizabeth, once again, Chris, thank you so much. I look forward for this afternoon's presentation. It's been great. And let's everybody study French if we want to stay here. That's we should understand our priorities. How can we achieve our goals? And again, the center is here to support you. We understand how important is the PR process for you. So thank you once again. Thank you so much, Florence, and I will see you this afternoon. Thanks, everyone.
Everyone. Okay, bye-bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.